Welcome back, hope you're doing well. In this video we'll be talking about attention, distractions and mindfulness. And you see, the main idea is that it's very important where you put your attention because it influences you a lot. Do you put your attention too much on negative people, on negative thoughts when you're talking to someone? Is your attention on the other person, on what he is saying? Are you here in this moment? Or are you getting lost in thought, thinking about something else, or thinking about what you will say next? You see, I think that one of the best skills or abilities that we can develop is to be able to just guide our attention and to focus on what we want and not get distracted so easily. I mean, I'm not sure if it's even possible to just pay attention to something and not get distracted at all. Just have total control over your attention. I'm not even sure if that's possible or not. But you see, are you able to just be here in this moment, right now? And you see, the interesting thing is that a very slight shift in our attention can have a huge difference on how we feel and on our life. I mean, just think about it. Whether or not you're paying attention to what you have or what you don't have, where do you put your attention to? You see, greed versus gratitude. Being grateful for what you have versus always wanting more and more and more. A slight shift in our attention, but a huge difference on how we feel. Or another example, well, do you focus too much on your negative thoughts? All these negative thoughts popping up. Do you just put your attention on them and believe them without questioning them? Or do you put your attention to other thoughts, other possibilities, telling the story in a different way, seeing it from a different perspective? Huge difference, but a very slight shift in attention when something is happening around you. Are you only focusing on the bad things? Or are you also considering the good things that are in this situation? Slight shift, huge difference. Or another example, is your attention right here, right now, in this moment? Or are you thinking about the past or the future? Dwelling on the past, ruminating about something, or worrying about the future, being anxious about something. Even though in this moment, everything is just alright. Or when you're doing something and you're just lost in thought. Instead of just enjoying this moment, you're thinking about something else. You're being lost in the future, in the past, which doesn't even exist. It's only an abstraction. It exists in our thoughts. You see, I think that this is one of the best examples or implementations of this idea of where you put your attention, is to just be here right now, to be mindful of this moment, to put your attention to this moment. Because you see, for example, there were times when I was with my friends and we were talking and they were saying that, there was such a nice view here, but I keep thinking about something else. I keep thinking about all the stuff that I got to do, or all the stuff that is coming up, this test, whatever, being anxious about this and that. You see, not being able to just enjoy this moment, to just be here right now. A lot of our suffering comes because of this, because we just can't be here and enjoy this moment. And even when we're in pain, you see, even when we have some kind of physical pain or mental pain, one of the best things that you can do is not run away from it. You see, trying to distract yourself, but to live that pain, live through that pain, and just be there and live it like there was nothing else to do. And even when you're having a great moment. But when we're having a happy moment, a joyful, blissful moment, it comes to us naturally to live it completely and be absorbed in this moment. But doing the same thing in an uncomfortable moment, in a painful moment, it actually makes it a lot less painful and a lot less uncomfortable. There is this story, I'm not sure, is it a Buddhist story? I'm not sure, that some kind of student asked his master, "It's so hot in here, how do we escape the heat?" And the master said something like, "Go right into the furnace," or something like that. And you see, the student said, "When we're in the furnace, how do you escape the heat?" And the master said, "No more heat will harass you or something like that. I'm not sure. The idea is that you got to go straight at it. Okay, so the recording just stopped because my phone got too hot because it was out on the sun, and now I put I put my shirt on it, so hopefully it won't get too hot right now. But while it was cooling off, I found that story that I was trying to tell you, and it's from one of Ellen Watts' TV shows, and it goes like this. You see, a student came to his master with the question, "It's terribly hot, and how shall we escape the heat?" And it says, in other words, this was a symbolic question asking the whole problem of the heat of suffering. He said, "It is terribly hot, and how shall we escape the heat?" And he answered, "Go right down to the bottom of the furnace." "In the furnace," said the student, "how do we escape the scorching fire?" And the master's final word was, "No further pains will harass you." And there's also some following up. Now you might say then the attitude of the Buddhist philosophy to suffering is not at all one of turning away from it, of solving the problem of suffering by turning one's back on it and escaping it. Rather, its whole attitude is that the solution to the problem of human pain, whether it be physical or whether it be moral, is to go right into it, to live it fully. And there's another poem that says, "Under the sword lifted high, there is hell making you tremble. But go straight ahead, and there is the land of bliss." So you see, go straight at it. Put your attention to it 100% in this moment. I mean, if you're interested more about stuff like this, I made a whole video about this topic, about pain, facing it, yielding to pain. You can check it out. I left a link to it in the description. But now let's get back to the main idea of the video. So you see, where you put your attention is very important. And it's even more important nowadays because you got to protect it, because everyone is fighting for your attention. You see, on YouTube, everyone is trying to get your attention with their fancy thumbnails. Even me, I mean, even though my thumbnails are very simple, but everyone is fighting for your attention. You see, it's being fought for by every new app, every post, every tweet, every YouTube video, every website, every advertising trying to sell you something. And not only external stuff, but internally too. Your attention is being grabbed by every thought, by all sorts of desires. You see, lust, greed, envy. You see, the need to get more stuff. Always trying to get somewhere. See, trying to get to a better moment. And once you get there, it will be so much better. But you see, what we got to understand is we got to accept where we are right now. Accept this moment and accept ourselves instead of always striving to get somewhere. You see, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, do self-improvement or want things or to strive for things. But we got to, at the same time, accept this moment profoundly. But you see, the thing is that now with all these scrolling apps and everything, our attention really got ruined. Because after you scroll for a couple of minutes, everything else is so boring. It's so hard to pay attention to something. But imagine if we regain some of the control that we have over our attention. Imagine how much more time we would have, and imagine how much more valuable that time would be. I mean, for example, I sometimes think to myself that, I don't have that much time. But you see, at the same time, when I'm examining my day, I notice that I'm still scrolling, you see, I'm still watching YouTube. My attention still gets diverted, I still get distracted. And you see, the interesting thing is that mostly I do it almost like unconsciously. Like I'm unconsciously picking up my phone, instantly going on YouTube, or scrolling on something or watching something. It's almost like I'm unaware of these things. This is why we can, you see, train our attention and become more aware, become more mindful. You see, there's a quote from Epictetus. He said something like, "It is not that life is too short, but we just waste a lot of it." You see, I also noticed that I can very easily get distracted by thoughts. See, even when writing the script for this video, I noticed that as I was writing it, or as I was thinking about what I should write next, I was getting distracted by all sorts of thoughts. See, and there's a huge difference when I get distracted by thoughts or when I enter this flow stage. You see, when I'm just focusing on writing that script. Or you see, when someone's talking to me and I'm thinking about something else. Or when I was in school or when I'm in university and I'm trying to listen. And you might be able to relate to some of these stories. And as you can see, presence can truly make such a difference. It can make probably everything so much better in being mindful. Because when we're not, we can so easily miss out on the subtlety of this present moment. And the mystery of this present moment. You see how crazy it is that we're alive, that we're here right now. We can get so easily lost in our tasks, in our duties, in our thoughts and all of that. I mean, just for example, when you're eating, are you present? Or are you watching some kind of YouTube video? Because that's what I used to do and still do. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. But what I started practicing is when I'm eating, I'm just eating. I'm not doing anything else but just paying attention to the food and to the taste, to the smell. And it's amazing, you see. I noticed how much I was missing out on by not being present. Now eating became a whole different experience. Now I'm just tasting every little taste of the food and really savoring it and all of that, and it's great. You can try that if you want to. I also made a video about it if you're interested. So what I recommend is to pay attention to where does your attention go to. See, where do you put your attention to? You see, sometimes it might happen unconsciously. Unconsciously, you might pick up your phone, you see. And also pay attention to what you watch on social media. What kind of influences do you have? Where do you put your attention to? And another thing is to practice mindfulness. Practice just being here in this moment. If you're interested more about that, I made a video about it. You can check it out in the description. And also, another thing that I think that can help with this is to remember that you're going to die. You see, memento mori. Remember that you will die. Because it just shakes you up, you see. It brings you back into this moment. And another thing is to be grateful for what you have. To be grateful for this moment. And be grateful for every moment. For the fact that you woke up today, that you can see, that you can walk, that you have this life, that you're conscious. Because you wouldn't trade it for anything else. One of the most precious things that you have is your life. The fact that you're conscious. And now, of course, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to do anything, you see. And I actually encourage you to not just blindly follow my advice or anyone else's advice, but to think it through and filter it through. Take the good stuff and leave the rest. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you're interested, I'm doing free one-on-one calls. You can send me an email and we'll contact each other. We'll arrange a video call and you can ask me anything that you want. We can have a chat. So if you're interested, leave a link. I mean, I will just leave my email in the description. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video. And thank you for your presence. Have a great day and goodbye.